Hey, how we doing guys? Gray here, and today we've got a week 2 battle of the PTL. We're going up against my good friend Alex, aka OnesieBanette, and his Birmingham Spritzee. Honestly, one of the most difficult coaches to face in any league that I've ever been in. Like, I know Alex likes to bring some of the craziest shit you've ever seen. If I remember, I will link his channel down below. He has been in the UPBA last season and will be, spoilers, will be in next season as well. Really great content creator, really nice guy. Make sure to go check him out. If you are enjoying the battles, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future games. And yeah, with all that out the way even, let's get into the team builder. First up, we can see his team that I actually haven't pulled up, which is, you know, great preparation on my part, but his team was like super physically offensive. You're gonna actually see a different team to what he's got now. Because he made some trades afterwards and I forgot to take a picture before he made those trades. So his team is actually Melmetal, Galarian Darmanitan, Ushfu Rapid Strike over the Keldeo, Mega Beedrill, Spectrier, Mandibuzz. He has a Cinderace Blaze, not Libero, over the Moltres, Florges, Golem, Calyrex, and Shelgon. In his week 1, he managed to beat Ethan with Calyrex and Golem putting in a load of work, so I really kind of made sure to put a little bit of prep in for those two mons because they could actually do some work. He did bring him week 1, and he did bring him for subsequent weeks as well. This is so they are kind of low tier, low key kind of threats. Looking at this team, Melmetal is obviously going to hit me really hard. I don't have the best switch-ins to it, but I'm going to try and make something work. Galarian Darmanitan, again, I don't have the best switch-ins, but I do have at least like a couple of things that may be able to take a hit depending on what he locks himself into. That is assuming that, of course, he is Gorilla Tactics and not Zen mode. Zen mode, if it's Belly Drum, Belly Drum, Sub Belly Drum even, with the Salic Berry, that's going to be a big problem. I had to try and prevent that from happening if I can somehow scout to see if he's Gorilla Tactics or not. That's going to have to try and be my play. The Urshifu Rapid Strike, I don't know if I said single strike or not on that first bit. It's Rapid Strike, not single strike. Urshifu Rapid Strike, again, is a very strong physical wall breaker that I actually think my team deals a little bit better with. I do have more options, I think, to deal with the Urshifu than two previous. The Mega Beedrill, I think, is not necessarily the best spring against me. I have things like the Gliscor, even like Scarf Jirachi deals with it. The Komodo can deal with it pretty well as well. So Mega Beedrill I don't think is necessarily one of the top mons to be bringing. Spectrier can be a bit scary because, you know, it can just do a lot of damage. My normal type being Braviary, and I don't really want to bring Braviary in this game. It doesn't necessarily do as much as I would like it to, so Spectrier could be a bit of a nuisance. My dark type being Greninja as well means that, you know, my dark type doesn't really resist it. I have to rely on other means, I think, of dealing with the Spectrier. Mandibuzz is almost a lock to come because he wants to have a switch into things like BLACEPHALON, to switch in with Jirachi, to Jirachi even. There's a couple of other things that he could also switch in on quite handily, and a defensive set would definitely make a lot of sense, and it's probably his best defogger in this game as well. The Cinderace, I think, is very likely to come. He does have a lot of physical attackers, but I think the Cinderace is also very good. Gives him good momentum in this game. And Pyro Ball, High Jump Kick, U-Turn, and like Zen Headbutt would really just kind of give him all the coverage he needs to be able to hit my team. He could also be Sucker Punch to hit the BLACEPHALON. He doesn't even really need High Jump Kick. But if he doesn't run High Jump Kick, he doesn't have something for like the Arctovish. Should the Arctovish come to this game. He could be Sucker Punch, then Headbutt. That would also make a lot of sense. And Florges, I think, is almost a lock to come as well. If it doesn't, then he can really struggle with Komodo. It basically hardballs Komodo, but I can use that to my advantage by expecting the Florges to come in and making a read around that. Golem seems to be one of his better checks to the Zeraora. I think Shelgon probably is his best check to Zeraora, believe it or not. But Golem as well can cause me some problems if it was able to come in on a free switch and be able to click Earthquake, or Rock Blast, or Stone Edge. Even Rocks would be a little bit annoying because it is his only rocker. I believe it's his only rocker, yeah. it is his only rocker on the team. So if Golem doesn't come and there's no rocks, absolutely fantastic. Like, that is ideal for me. But Golem could be a bit of a problem. Calyrex, I think, doesn't have a great matchup. It does lose to a lot of my team. Things like the Zeraora can knock it off. Jirachi can just U-turn on it. Gliscor can U-turn on it. Like, I have a lot of momentum. Doesn't do well against the Arctovish. Doesn't do well against the Greninja. I mean, the list goes on. It really doesn't have a good matchup. And Shelgon is Shelgon. If it turns up, then I should probably be scared. But I don't know what it's going to do. I think there's probably enough on my team to be able to deal with it. And let's get into my build. It's going to be a bit of a funky build. It's a bit different, just because this team is obviously very scary on the physical side, and I don't really check it very well. So I decided to go for a very offensive build, starting off with Choice Scarf Gliscor. It's still got the Poison Hill just in case the Mandibuzz has Toxic. Toxic is probably its best way of hitting a few things on my team, so I'm thinking if I can get the Poison Hill off, it's better than having Hyper Cutter. He doesn't really have anything to lower my stats. So yeah, potential to catch Toxic would be fantastic. Earthquake, Wing Attack, Stone Edge, and U-turn pretty much hits his entire team for super effective damage, depending on what he brings. There's some things that it doesn't hit for super effective, but honestly, I don't think the Florges is going to be wanting to take the Earthquake particularly, as I think it'd probably be more preserved to deal with the Komo. And Scarf Gliscor probably will just catch him off guard. I don't think it's a set they necessarily will want to bring. It does speed tie with the Darmanitan. If he decides to run Adamant instead of Jolly, then it will outspeed the Darmanitan. It outspeed the Beedrill, it outspeeds Urshifu if it's not Scarfed. It will outspeed the Cinderace if it's not Scarfed. We can also take a hit from Cinderace, we can take a hit from Beedrill, we can take a hit from potentially Melmetal. If it's not Ice Punch, if it's not running Ice Punch, then we can. But I think there's most likely going to have Ice Punch. But yeah, Gliscor just seems like a nice way of kind of being able to revenge kill a lot of things on his team. And it's certainly a set that I think will probably at least catch him off guard a little bit. Next up we've got Blacephalon, Choice Specs, Modest. This thing literally claims a kill every time it comes in. Mind Blown, Fire Blast, Overheat, and Shadow Ball. His fire resist is Cinderace and Urshifu. So Fire Blast will 2-hit KO both of those. Overheat will Oko a physically defensive Mandibuzz from memory, and will 2-hit KO a more physically defensive Florges, which I expect to be more physically defensive to deal with the Komodo. So yeah, we could pretty much just spam Overheat whenever this mon comes in. It claims one. If there's no Golem, not if I say Golurk. If there's no Golem, then there's no rocks, and Blacephalon literally, if it gets a free switch in, will just click a button and something dies. And I'm using something else on my team to, I mean, you see it there, Jirachi is a really nice way of being able to try and bring in Blacephalon. In fact, Komodo and Jirachi do this really well. Jirachi is almost specifically here to force out the Melmetal and just click U-turn. It's probably going to click U-turn on most turns that it comes in, because that gives me free Blacephalon, and like I say, if there's no rocks, Blacephalon just claims one. And Jirachi in itself is still pretty decent. Like, Choice Scarf is able to outspeed the Mega Beedrill, it's able to outspeed the Spectria, it's able to outspeed the Urshifu as well if it's not a choice item, or it's not Choice Scarf even. So it has a few options to be able to kind of pick up KOs late on. I can always do the flinch bullshit if I need to. And U-turn, like I say, its best switch in is Melmetal, and Melmetal gives me Blacephalon. So I'm not sure if we're seeing here, but the game plan is get Blacephalon in, get kills, try and out-offense him by just claiming kills every time Blacephalon comes in. Next up we've got Expert Belt, Zeraora with the Plasma Fist, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Grass Knot. 6 EVs, because why not? I did need the special attack investment to be able to do enough to Arindo Berry Golem. If I was able to break its Sash with, by Sash I mean Sturdy, if I was able to break its Sturdy with Stealth Rock, and it's not, if it's Rindo Berry, not Leftovers, then Grass Knot will be able to knock it out even through the Rindo. Plasma Fist, Close Combat, Knockoff just gave me like the best coverage to be able to hit everything on his team. Plasma Fist does so much damage to everything because Like, he just doesn't have much defense at all, and his 2 defensive mons don't really want to take a Plasma Fist. So that's why I'm kind of thinking the Golem will probably come, and it'll probably be a Rindoberry set, but we're running enough special attack for that. Close combat really just hits the Melmetal and the Darmanitan for super effective damage. Knockoff is nice for knocking off items. It also hits the Spectrier for super effective damage, because I don't really have a whole lot for Spectrier at this point. Like, I have my choice Scarfers, and if he's not scarfed himself, then they're probably going to be able to deal with Spectrier alone, but it's not going to be the easiest. Like, I think having knockoff is just nice for the utility that it's going to provide for my team. Next up, we have got a Yachiberry Komodo with Body Press, Clanging Scales, Stealth Rock, and Iron Defense. This is a very specific set, and it is very much to bring in Florges, because Florges cannot do anything to BLACEPHALON, and again, that gives me free BLACEPHALON, gives me a free Specs Overheat. But Body Press, Clanging Scales, Stealth Rock, Iron Defense, this set is arguably the best set I can bring against a team that doesn't have Florges, because he's got so many physical attackers. Iron Defense is going to be really nice. Surging Strikes doesn't do a whole lot to me, especially if he is Choice Scarf on his Urshifu. It's going to be doing very little damage, nothing that I can't just like out damage effectively with Body Press. Clanging Scales is nice because it is able to hit the Spectrier through a sub potentially, and it means that even if I get burned, I'm still going to be able to do that damage. I'm still going to be able to potentially pick up a 3-hit KO, I believe it is. And Stealth Rock is just nice because rocks against his team is phenomenal. Darmanitan, Beedrill, potentially Mandibuzz if it's not Boots, or a knockoff it's Boots, as well as the Cinderace. They're all not wanting to take. They don't want to take the rocks damage at all because it just puts them in range of other things. And if I can get those rocks up and I'm able to put stuff in range of Jirachi and Gliscor, then it's pretty much just over. Like, I'm able to out-offense him every time with those 2 mons. Also, I forgot to mention that Jirachi is able to outspeed his 2 most likely Scarf options in Darmanitan and Urshifu, which is huge in this matchup. And if he's not, if he's Scarf Cinderace, then unfortunate, but what can you do? We've got probably way more ways to deal with Cinderace than we do the other 2. Last up, we have got a very interesting Arctofish set that is literally just here for the Darmanitan, to an extent to deal with the Cinderace and I guess the Urshifu as well if I can get this chip damage off. We are Rocky Helmet. The Water Absorb is nice because it means that you probably won't want to spam Surging Strikes until it dies. Vicious Rend, Freeze Dry, Endure, and Rest is the moveset we're going for. Vicious Rend hits his walls as hard as I possibly can. I am EV to outspeed Florges, not the Mandibuzz though, because if Mandibuzz wants to U-turn out, it takes a bit of Rocky Helmet damage, and something else has got to take the Vicious Rend, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm not too worried about that at all. The Freeze Dry is there to hit the Urshifu, because Vicious Rend obviously is not doing any damage at all. Endure and Rest are specifically there to get more Rocky Helmet damage on things, as like if I possibly can. If I can get a Rest up, the Darmanitan is really struggling to be able to break me. It's probably going to U-turn on me as well, so it's going to be taking that. It potentially takes Rocks. If he brings the Beedrill, that's taking Rocks. It's taking Rocky Helmet. I can Endure. It can take another lot of Rocky Helmet. And same with Cinderace. If it wants to U-turn, same with the Urshifu. If it wants to U-turn, all of them have got to take Rocky Helmet damage. So yeah, Arctofish is specifically there for that and nothing else. It's literally here to get that Rocky Helmet damage and potentially click Vicious Rend maybe once. Maybe Freeze Dry if the Urshifu's in. So that's going to be the team. And moving over to the game, he brings the Mega Beedrill, the Darmanitan, the Florges, Mandibuzz, Urshifu Rapid Strike, not Single Strike, and the Melmetal. Slightly surprised to see no Spectrier. It means that he really doesn't have any special offense at all in this game. Spectrier, I thought, had a pretty decent matchup. Not amazing, but decent. Also, there's no Cinderace, which is nice because then now means that all my Scarf, in fact, my Scarf Jirachi is the quickest mon in this game. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's the quickest mon in this game, and that actually makes Jirachi really valuable for me. Looking at the matchup, I was thinking it might be Scarf Darmanitan. Scarf Darmanitan does make a lot of sense here. It could also just be Banded, which again would make a lot of sense. it's either that or a Scarf Urshifu, and Scarf Urshifu is a bit of a problem, but not the worst. My Komodo can deal with that just fine. My Arctivish, depending on what he clicks, can kind of deal with that just fine. And actually, my Arctivish looks pretty good against a lot of this team, surprisingly. I forgot to mention the Melmetal really in my building. It's because I kind of expected Melmetal to come in and it'd be a Rachi check, and I'm just clicking U-turn. Just clicking U-turn pretty much every time Rachi comes in until that Melmetal's dead, and then I can start clicking other moves. So yeah, I decided to lead off with Gliscor. I felt like it wasn't necessarily like the most necessary mon in this game, and it does let me scout for potential scarfs. So if he leads off with Urshifu or Darmanitan and outspeeds me, I know they're scarfed. Like 100% they're scarfed because I am Jolly Max Speed Scarf myself. And if he's not scarfed and he leads off with Urshifu, I can click Wing Attack. He will not expect that, I doubt at all. And Wing Attack will do a good amount of damage. And also I can click Stone Edge against the Darmanitan, or against the I can click Earthquake against Beedrill because it probably dies to Earthquake. Really, if he leads off on more defensive mons, it's a bit of an issue. If he leads off on Melmetal, it's a little bit of an issue. But we're going to see that he leads off with the Urshifu Rapid Strike. And looking at the my team, I know Alex is a smart enough player to see that, like, I've got maybe 3 mons that can take Surging Strikes okay. He doesn't know what my Jirachi set is. If it's physically defensive, it will take Surging Strikes no problem. Komodo will take that hit just fine. Obviously, I've got Water Absorb, Arctivish in the back. So I'm willing to take the risk here and just go for the Wing Attack. I don't believe he's going to go for the Surging Strikes. If he does, like I said, Gliscor isn't the most necessary mon in this game, but I'm willing to take the risk, as he actually just goes for the U-turn, revealing himself to be scarfed, and we get a nice chunky Wing Attack off on that Darmanitan. That's a solid 41%. And because I predicted that first time, and I've got a really safe switch into Arctivish, I'm quite happy to not necessarily worry about whether he predicts me to switch out or not. I'm just going to go into Arctivish, and that puts it at 42%. And 42% means that it's in range of another Wing Attack. It's obviously in range of Earthquake, but it's well within Earthquake range. And if I can get rid of the Mandibuzz, Earthquake spam is actually incredibly free against this team. So he goes out into his Urshifu. I am going to swap out into my Komodo, as he predicts that and goes for the U-turn. It's a nice read on his part. As Floor just comes in, like I said, this is fine by me. There's a couple of different ways I can play this to try and bait in the BLACEPHALON. The first time I was always going to go into Jirachi and see what he wants to go for. If he goes for Moonblast, we don't take a lot of damage at all. We U-turn on expected Melmetal, potentially Mandibuzz as well, but Mandibuzz gives us Zeraora. So again, that's not too much of an issue. Especially because he didn't bring Golem. Now Plasma Fist is super free against this team as well. Yeah, so regardless, I can U-turn on his turn. I don't expect him to want to stay in because Floor just really can't do anything to me. And if he goes out into Melmetal or stays in, I guess I can just go BLACEPHALON. So I'm going to click U-turn as we actually see the Beedrill come in. Sorry, I don't U-turn, I've already switched. Yeah, he switched, predicting me to switch. I don't know what he was expecting. Maybe he was expecting a BLACEPHALON to come in there. But I'm just going to click Zen Headbutt. Again, if Mandibuzz comes in, I'm not hugely worried. I have my ways of dealing with Mandibuzz. So I'm just going to click Zen Headbutt. If he stays in, like you see he does, Zen Headbutt, just going to knock out the Beedrill. And that's nice. Like, Beedrill didn't have the best matchup, but still taking that speed tier away is really nice for me. He now knows I'm scarfed, which is a bit of an issue. But I then bring in my Arctivish to get 2 lots of Rocky Helmet damage on this Melmetal. Honestly, well worth that trade. BLACEPHALON comes in for free. Something's going to die. As we actually crit the Mandibuzz. This crit the Fire Blast even. This crit does matter because it wouldn't have OHKO'd, but at the same time it would have been put at like 25% or so, and it would have been in a like range of Fire Blast again. Fire Blast to Urshifu does about 70% as well, depending on his set, but we've already seen it scarfed. I don't expect it to be bulky as well. So yeah, we're doing about 70%, would have put it in range of quite a few things. If Urshifu comes in, what does it do? It probably U-turns, and he gets, I go into Komodo, he goes into Darmanitan maybe, and I just click Body Press, because I I am Yachiberry. I'll take the Icicle Crash should he click it. And yeah, we kind of just go from there. Darmanitan does look like a bit of an issue because Arctivish is now dead. But again, like I said, I'll take that trade. Arctivish for like 30% on Melmetal, absolutely worth it. Because Melmetal can be difficult for me to break down, should Blacephalon ever go down. So yeah, absolutely would take that damage. I Fire Blast crit here. I genuinely don't think this mattered, because it just meant I got damage on the Urshifu, and Urshifu was severely weakened at that point. So yeah, we're able to pick up that kill. And as he goes out into Urshifu anyway, I go out into Komodo as he goes for Surgeon Strikes. This does literally no damage. This is that does what 19%. So I'm just going to set up my rocks. If he wants to click Defog here, absolutely fine. I don't care about that. So he actually makes a nice read and goes straight out into his Urshifu. I go straight back out into Blacephalon as he clicks Close Combat, which is a 2-hit KO from here, but he decides he wants to switch out instead, go back into his Florges, as I double into Gliscor. I click U-turn and I'm able to get Blacephalon here. So actually I go into Jirachi. So I could have got Blacephalon in. I think it wasn't in range of the overheat at that point. Maybe going into Blacephalon would have been better, but I think I wanted to get a bit more damage. Clicking U-turn on the Melmetal is always going to be nice if I can do that. If he stayed in, I still get Blacephalon in, so it's kind of a lose-lose situation for him. I get Blacephalon in, something's now dying to this overheat. It was going to be the Florges, which was Fizz Death. There's no way I'm going to do that much if it wasn't Fizz Death. The Urshifu comes in again. I just go hard Jirachi as he goes for Surgeon Strikes. Because I outspeed, I'm more than happy to go for that, and he actually stays in, makes a good read there. Yeah, predicting me to predict the Melmetal to come in, and Melmetal kind of claimed one. At this point, I'm happy for Komodo to go down. It has somewhat done its job. I feel like my Scarfers can do enough, because I can literally just lock myself into Earthquake with Gliscor. This is like the one thing that doesn't die to Surging Strikes, so I felt like it was worth trying to get this damage off. I could have gone into Jirachi and Zen Headbutt. So I didn't go to Jirachi and Zen Headbutt there, because if Melmetal came in, I picked a sack, and I didn't want to do that. If he stayed in and I Zen Headbutt, then that's fine, but if he stayed in and clicked Surgeon Strikes, again, I've got to pick a sack. So losing the health on Zeraora in exchange for this was absolutely fine. Like, Darmanitan died to Plasma Fists, the Urshifu died to Plasma Fists, the Melmetal more than likely died to the combination of Plasma Fist into CC, especially because we are Expert Belt. Here I don't have a switch in. I could go out into my Gliscor, but I just don't see it as worth it. I'm going to click Earthquake, it's going to pick up the KO. It does the most damage to Melmetal as well. So we're going to do a solid amount as he does reveal the Ice Punch. And now Blacephalon comes in, and I just click the Mind Blown. It's a risk-free play. A risk-free play that I wanted to show off the Mind Blown. Simple as that. So good game to Alex. Really fun game. Very offensive. Very kind of momentum-based game. The Florges really killed all momentum for him, and that was kind of my game plan from the beginning. To kind of abuse the things that are slower on his team. So I was able to abuse the Florges and the Melmetal and get Blacephalon in, and Blacephalon literally just click buttons. If he had sacked the Urshifu earlier, then Blacephalon literally just would have won that game. Actually, I think he was Scarf Darmanitan as well, because we saw he outsped my Zeraora. And I wasn't that slow on Zeraora that would be outsped by Darmanitan in any world. So, yeah, there's a calc in the chat saying that Timid Fire Blast did 66 to 78. Of course, I was modest. So I think like the min roll was probably about 72, 73, which is a huge amount of damage. You risk a burn as well. So yeah, Blacephalon really just put a lot of work in this game. Jirachi and Gliscor also did some really good work in this. Honestly, everything on the team did exactly what it was meant to do. The Arctivish chipped something down, or in fact it chipped two things down. It took a hit from the Darmanitan, and it took 2 double iron bashes to kill it, which meant it got 2 lots of Rocky Helmet damage. So yeah, Arctifish, very happy with how that ended up working out. Kamo did exactly what it was meant to do, baited in the Florges, was able to take advantage of it, and yeah, my two Scarfers just did what they had to do. So yeah, good game to Alex. Make sure to go check him out. His link will be down in the description below, should I remember. Hopefully I do. Really nice guy. Make sure to go check him out. He deserves a lot of support because he puts a lot of effort into his content. If you did enjoy the battle, please leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss out on the rest of the PTL season, as well as the other leagues that we've got going on at the moment. And until the next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.